government was willing to pay her while she was seeing more of the world, she'd gladly repay them by giving every man, woman, and child who needed nursing the best care possible. Having the time of her life while doing that was an added bonus. Checking that the red belt was even around the waistline of her white and red polka dot dress, with a full skirt because she found pencil skirts too confining to dance in, Wendy walked toward the dance floor. That's where she'd be spending the entire evening, dancing until her feet hurt inside her white slingback shoes, and she was so exhausted that she'd fall into bed hours from now, tired and happy. That may not happen until sunrise. It so happened that her day off this week fell on Sunday, tomorrow. There would be no need to be up and ready to relieve the night shift at the hospital by 8 in the morning. Facility 161, as the arena was known on base, was a huge octagon building that hosted, amongst other things, 2 bowling alleys, a boxing ring, movie theater, and a circular dance room that had one open side letting in the fresh island air. Tonight, the Battle of the Music was happening, where Navy bands from the ships homeported in Pearl Harbour would compete. The USS Arizona band had won the preliminary round of the battle back in September, shortly after she'd arrived in Pearl Harbour, and they were very good. However, she'd also heard the USS Pennsylvania band, as well as those from the USS Tennessee, the USS Argonne, and the submarine base band at different dances since then. They were all good, and she wasn't rooting for one over the other, would simply cheer for all of them and be happy for the winner. The music was already in full swing, and the dance floor filled with couples, including Lois, whose blonde curls were bouncing as she danced with a tall sailor. Wendy checked that the white plumeria flower she'd attached to a bobby pin that was holding back her hair was still in place behind her right ear. Behind the left ear would mean she was in a relationship, and she wasn't. Nor did she want to be. That was another thing she'd promised her mother, to never let some man trick her into believing that love and marriage was what every woman wanted and needed. Not her. She was the one in charge of her life, and would keep it that way. That was something else that was so wonderful here. Back home, men were looking for a wife, someone to clean, cook, and have babies. That would never be her. Here, many of the men had girlfriends and wives back at home, and weren't looking for anything other than someone to dance with them. That was all she wanted to do, too. Dance. Dance the night away. Biting down on her bottom lip at the giddiness filling her, she found an open spot along the sidelines of the dance floor, and glanced about looking for a partner. There were an unlimited number to choose from. Men greatly outnumbered women on the base. A sailor with short dark hair, although they all had short hair, caught her eye. He was taller than most, his shoulders broader, and had an amazing smile that filled his face as he listened to another sailor, leading her to believe he would be a fun dance partner. However, he appeared far more interested in whatever the other sailor was saying than dancing. She was disappointed, but with so many others clearly looking for a partner, she continued to scan the room. Her gaze landed on him again a couple of times, until she reminded herself that she was here to dance, and smiled at a shorter, thinner sailor with blonde hair who was looking at her expectantly. She nodded and met the blonde sailor at the edge of the dance floor, and within seconds was being sashayed around the wooden floor. He had happy blue eyes, and was a fair dancer. She enjoyed the 2 songs they danced to, but was glad when another sailor tapped his shoulder, because she was looking for a livelier dancer. She was again a bit disappointed that it hadn't been the amazing smile sailor who tapped the other one's shoulder. That wasn't like her. She cared about a man's dancing ability, not his looks. Dancing was when she felt completely free, like a bird let out of its cage, and she wanted to find a partner to match that freedom on the dance floor. Her new partner was a bit taller than the last one, and she danced with him until another sailor tapped his shoulder. Thus it continued. With her dancing with so many sailors, she no longer found anything distinguishing between them, other than none of them had been the lively dancer she was looking for. Therefore, she decided to take a break from dancing. She made her way over to the beverage station, chose a bottle of soda, and walked through the open wall to the concrete lanai, where the slight coolness of the night air was welcome. Lifting the hair off the back of her neck so the air could evaporate the sheen of sweat from dancing, she admitted to having